Educasting radio by Sylvania. This is a subcarrier receiver, and I've covered this before, not this radio, but another one of these. I think Radio TV Phone on It covered one of these too. They were possibly everywhere at one time. And it's basically just this radio here with a subcarrier decoder in it. Well, this one's broken. Let's fix it. Or let's diagnose it.
Down. The president and vice president wanted to make sure those hardworking Americans got money, and this was the most efficient way of doing it.
Yeah, we're listening to the president's a coronavirus conference press conference.
They are, but I would say, our expectation is this bill passes tonight.
FM radio designed for reception of Educasting study course material. This is made possible through special equipment installed in your local FM radio station, whose call letters appear on the front of the receiver. Well, let's put... This multiplex receiver is not intended for use generally by the public, but is to be used solely for the authorized reception of multiplex programs provided by an authorizing radio station. Other than this receiver may be subject to federal law. Great Britain, France, West Germany, property of Educasting Systems Incorporated. Now what this is it's just this, with this removed and the AM/FM switch removed. But we can get around all that. Alright, this is the radio, and I believe this is pretty much stock. I could be wrong with that. And it's the same as that radio there. It's the same. And this is where they cut the AM/FM switch off. And you can hear the problem. It's all distorted, and that's the volume all the way up. This is a subcarrier decoder. And it actually doesn't have many wires going to it. It's got, I think, 4 wires going to it. So it's got black, which is ground, green, orange, and purple white. So here's purple white. And geez, it looks like they just... Maybe I'll take this one open and we'll compare the way they got this hooked up. So I'm going to assume that, well, I'm not going to assume anything. Okay, here's what they've done to connect this. This is a subcarrier demodulator assembly back here. So these are probably your different subcarriers, your 67, 91, whatever it is, I forget. Don't really care. This is probably what they've done. Okay, they've removed this disc capacitor right here, this one. You can see it's removed, and they've installed a resistor. This is the audio. This is FM only, I believe. I have the schematic for this one. So this is the capacitor they've removed right here, C37. And that is, yeah, that's your FM. So what they've done is they've removed this capacitor, they've cut this line, they've cut this, and then they've fed it back into here. So this is where they're taking the audio out into this demodulator, then they're inserting it back into the radio here. On this one, the wire just goes up underneath and connects. So that's all they're doing. There's really nothing complex here. So you have output to subcarrier demodulator, audio input back into here, And they probably need to, yeah, they probably need to replace these disconnect these capacitors. They need these capacitors removed so because these would filter the subcarrier off. So did they change this one? Is this? Yes, this is 150 picofarads right here, where this one is 0.01. So they had to shrink that down in order not to filter the subcarrier off at the output. I wonder if they calculated these at all. I hope not. What you could do is they could stagger tune these, you know, shift them back and forth. It would reduce the gain a little bit, but it would broaden the IF response out so that more would get through. But anyway, let's not worry about that. Let's try and find out why this sounds like garbage. And that's the volume wide open. And this almost sounds like it's a problem in the audio output because the sensitivity is good. I mean, I can tune across in it. It sounds the same on FM, so let's get the signal tracer and see what this sounds like. Okay, very handy piece of equipment for troubleshooting radios. So let's see what we got here.
Supreme. It's premium. It's supreme. Fill up today at your closest Exxon or Mobil station.
Now trending on KFI.
I care.
Timmons of Long Beach.
Tanya, give me the best thing about what's the upside of being at home.
I am enjoying not.
All right. So that says that the issue is in the audio amp stage.
No awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. That's to start your free online visit. Go to visit.
Something's off in the audio amp. Let's see the volume control.
People need their tax refund. That's why H&R is open with many ways to.
Okay, so we got a good signal to our volume control. Okay, so it comes out of the volume control and goes into the AF amp, then into the driver, then into the push-pull audio output. So it sounds like crap over here. It sounds good right here. So let's start to trace through here, start to follow through here and find out where it's getting destroyed. I need to locate these. So Q7, Q6, Q6, Q7. This is Q6, this is Q7. Not easy to get to, man. They've got those transistors rammed almost all the way down against the board. And then these are the outputs. There's just no accessibility from the top. Okay. So that Q6 is right here. Okay, where is... Okay, these two wires right here are the driver transformer. It's a hot signal right there. Okay, this is the driver transformer right here. That blue one right there, D60. And so this point right here is turn it down a little. Turn it down a little bit more. So it sounds good there. So it sounds good right here. So it must be a problem with the output. See, where's the output transformer? Right there. So that right there, where it sounds distorted, that's measuring it at this point and this point. So we have a bias problem here. We're not getting enough. We're not getting any bias on these output transistors. Let's see if we measure here. So that would be this point and this point. So it sounds good here. It sounds like crap over here. So we're missing our bias. I need to inspect these resistors. We have a bad resistor here. Or we could have shorted transistors or open transistors, but I doubt it. More than likely we got a bad resistor here. Okay, so that little red thing right there, that's the thermistor. If that was bad, I don't think it would cause this, because that's just in parallel.
Yes, hi. Can I speak to the business owner?
Cyfroin McVibel Plarsel. So yeah, I don't think the thermistor would cause it, because the thermistor is just in parallel. It wouldn't cause it to be this dead. So I'm looking at that 3900. We also need to check the 6.8. So we'll start by checking our voltages on these transistors. This is a very difficult circuit to troubleshoot, because we have negative 1 volt here. We have positive 5 volts here, and that negative 1 volt comes from drop across this resistor. So the ground is kind of floating. But anyway, I'm measuring right at 0.41 right there, and let's see, 0.41. It says we should have 4.9 volts. We have 5.25. So is this 3.9 open? 3900? We can bridge one in there. Nope, no difference. I see a solder bridge right here. See that? Could that really be the problem, or did that damage the transistors? Geez, this does not want to let go, does it?
Plus, a new series that I'm starting, coming up right after the break, what I've learned being a radio host.
Well,
I miss it. I'll be right back.
That helped, but it's still too quiet.
COVID-19. All right, let's give this a try. Hey Siri. Hi. Do I have COVID-19? Well, she's awfully slow to answer. So, do I have COVID-19?
If you're worried you might have coronavirus, a few questions can help you understand your situation. Ready to begin?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any of the following? Fever, dry cough, or trouble breathing?
Yes. Yes.
Are your symptoms extreme or life-threatening?
No.
Symptoms like fever, dry cough, or trouble breathing.
Well, that woke it up. That had to be a manufacturer's defect. But it's still not loud. I mean, this thing should be loud, and that's all the way up. So I wonder if it damaged the transistors. I don't think it's the output transistors, because it would be distorted, and it just sounds too good to have bad output transistors. So I'm looking at a couple of these capacitors. I want to jump that one. That's really the only coupling capacitor, that one and this one.
And our new fast track loan process can get it done in record
Let me find that. Let me find. Let's jump that one first.
That's 844-425-3669. It's
oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender. Visit us at Lennox Home Loans. Or call for additional cost information. Other restrictions apply. Rates subject to change. When searching for a beautiful new garage door, search for MesaGarageDoors.com.
There's a crash in the 405 in the valley.
Well, I would say that one is bad.
453.
The Department of Transportation in LA reminding drivers of the city's decision to give them a break on parking enforcement during the outbreak. So here's some examples. You won't get a ticket for parking in a residential street sweeping zone in a rush hour gridlock zone.
That one's bad. The other one is right here.
You can still get a ticket for parking in an expired.
You still have until April.
How about this? This is a 0.68 monolithic capacitor.
The news you need now more than ever from the people you trust. Southern California's only 24-hour news and traffic station. KNX, KRTH, FM HD2, Los Angeles.
A couple things for the 210. 210, this is going to be eastbound, your transition to the South 605.
They lost control, went off the roadway, went off that embankment, hit a pole.
Boy, that made a huge difference.
They are.
Okay, so what did we have wrong with this? And I guess it's new old stock and it never worked. We had a bridged solder trace on the bottom and we had an open capacitor. Now this is old. This is from probably the 60s. So what a trip. It never worked from the factory. It was a factory defect. And we fixed it 100 years later.
I feel like the new 40. Yeah, okay, maybe.
It's still not quite as loud as this one, but I don't know. It's a different speaker.
20census.gov. Paid for by you.
Let's see if we could get any
Southern California's only 24.
see if we can get any multiplex, not multiplex, subcarrier.
Change.
Oh, that made that sound better.
내륙 지역의 낮 기온은 60도 초반, 벨리 지역과 해안 지역은 60도 안팎되겠습니다. 이번 주말은 비 소식은 없는데요. 금요일부터 기온 조금 오르겠지만
We also have to be focused on the reason why this is all happening.
보시겠습니다. LA 다운타운은 오늘 밤 최저
There's a subcarrier.
내일 낮 최고 62도, 현재 기온은 64도입니다. 미국 내 최고 워런티에 이어 3년 무상 정비 서비스 소리는 현대자동 라디오 코리아 그린 뉴스
So it looks like we have one live subcarrier in LA. It actually works pretty good now. This is repair.
HGTV. I've been hooked on property. My shirt and tell me it's okay. Say it doesn't matter. Hammer time. Go. It is said if you came through the list, your mommy your hands in the air. Must be real. 520. 5.
See how deep the water.
School I used to
Read more than make out of it. Go to Cars for Kids.
Service coast. His own all the time. Con usted. Gracias a la aplicación de Guadalupe Radio.
There's channel 6, Guadalupe Radio, low power FM TV.
Evita tocar tus ojos, nariz.
We
make the best medical equipment in the world, and you have some people like the European Union, they don't take it because they have specifications that don't allow our equipment in because it's designed in a different way. Even though it's a better way, it's designed. They're all playing games against us, okay? They've been playing games against us for years, and no president has ever done anything about it. But the European Union, you look at medical equipment, we make the best medical equipment in the world, but we can't sell it because we're not appropriately. And yet we take their medical equipment in our country. We're changing things, Steve. All this is changing. But they have specifications so that our equipment, designed specifically so that our equipment can't come into their countries.
Okay, well, check it out. We got 3 more to repair. And I have a feeling these are all factory defect returns also. So let's just take a quick look and kind of do a quick analysis on each one and fire it up. See what it does. Okay, here's the first one. This one's still sealed in the bag. It's so new old stock. And look at this one, is so minty. It's got the original seal with stamp on it. Okay, here we go. Batteries are loaded. This has probably not been powered up since the 60s. And it's dead. Make sure I did this right. Let me double check. Okay, I took and sanded those contacts off a little bit. They were just oxidized, and now we got some action. This has still got the tuner limiter on it where you can only turn it so far. So in order to make it a usable regular radio, you have to break that, take that pin off that limits the tuning. Because they had it set to 1 channel and you could only tune right around that 1 channel. Which happens to be like 88.1 or channel 6. Okay, it's also kind of quiet, so it's probably got some low ESR capacitors in it, but definitely it sounds okay. It's not like there's anything shorted, like the last one with the solder blob. Okay, this one, same thing. Doesn't look like this one's ever been touched. Virgin-y goodness. Look at that. Do not break seal. Wow, this one's even got the Sylvania logo on it. Extra virgin. Wow. See if the contacts are corroded on this one too. No, not as bad. They're shiny. Kind of the same deal. These kind of corroded. Same thing, it's got that limiter. Minty virgin-y goodness. It sounds good though. Probably just needs capacitors. Okay, here's number 3. This one's a little beat up. Let's see. Nothing. Same thing again with this stupid battery. Yeah, see that crust? That almost looks like it had batteries in it. Let me sand that. You can hear a little bit hiss there, but nothing's getting through it. This one we're going to have to fix. So what we'll do is we'll fix this one and we'll remove the block out of it. Oh wait, the block has already been removed out of this one. But that's the volume wide open. So this one's most likely open capacitors. So this one and the previous one were used and developed problems, or they're factory defects. The other two seem minty, virgin-y, never used. All right, well, are we about ready to violate this thing? It has been violated. Oh. Born in 1965 and a virgin until 2020. Okay, and the last one, it was this capacitor right here that was open. Or we have another problem here. Okay, well, I would say it's safe to say that's open. The ESR of this monolithic is pretty good at 0.70. The one that came out of there reads 79 picofarads. These radios sound great. They are loud and powerful when they work right.
Pursue us.
You know, let's see if there are any subcarriers. This sounds like that Chinese Golden America Vintage or whatever that one I had that separate radio for. Let me see if I could find that radio. I just pulled it out last week and this was not on the air. Weird. I wonder if I broke this radio, because I could swear that's what it was. It was on that Mexican station. Crap, I guess this is my fault. I disconnected that crystal to feed the signal generator in there. I guess I never hooked it back up, so the radio station still is on the air. Alright, well, as the soldering iron's heating up so I can put that crystal back, let me see if I can... Ooh, so there's one on the classical station too.
한국교육과정평가원은 수능일 연기에 맞춰 2021학년도 수능에서는 한국사 영역을 제외한 전 영역과 과목에
저도 중국을 따라잡은 것으로
Actually, there's several of them here.
또 EBS 수능 교재 및
There's one there.
출제 연계는
공공 장소에서 마스크 착용을
Days so far in the United States. 3/4 of American residents are now under stay-at-home orders.
코로나19
That's, I think, KPFK.
대부분 사람들에게 마스크가 필요하지 않다는 트럼프 행정부 지침에 어긋나는 것이라.
Wow, so there's 3 FM subcarriers here.
That is considering
Suggest the subject to hefty fines and imprisonment for violating the strict measures.
In Europe, they say many more lives.
We are in real need of.
They estimate that so far between 7 and
surgical masks.
I'm that fortunate child to be born on this child. You need nowhere to quiet to taste.
Let me put the crystal back in.
永远维持台湾的和平与安全，是他终身的志志，
Makes a big difference when the crystal's hooked up.
郝龙斌说，郝柏村是他心中永远的英雄与榜样。父亲临终前一再交代，不希望任何人前往吊唁，尤其目前正值疫情严峻之际，因此他公开仪式将等疫情趋缓后举办这次活动。他说，
父亲临终前一再的交代，这是他希望在他离开以后，他的仪式，他希望个人用他自己的方式来怀念他，他不希望任何的吊唁，尤其现在疫情在台湾很严重，所以我们也不会发布文，也不会有任何的公开仪式。我们在适当的时候等疫情过去，有一个追思的活动。
来让这个好朋友来怀念他。
郝龙斌受访时红了眼眶，数度哽咽。他表示，父亲离开后，他接到非常多好友的关心与致电，他代表所有家人表达感激之意。尤其国防部以及三军总医院对他父亲的照顾，让他们感念在心，也感谢社会大众的关爱。记者刘聘熙在台北的采访报道。
郝柏村30号病逝，对此总统府表示，对于郝柏村一生入力从容从公，担任军职。
Attack of the Asian subcarrier radio stations. We have 3 Asian subcarrier radio stations in LA on the air right now. Boy, we are special. Your coronavirus headquarters.